Good afternoon, everybody. I want to give you a fast update today on what's happening truly in the Indiana courts based on what our Indiana Supreme Court has issued orders on. The good news is that the court is establishing procedures to reopen all the courts for every matter, not just emergency matters. And they're trying to say, how is this going to work, not if it's going to work. So it's no longer a question of if, but it's when and how. So the court's really moving that forward nicely. I'm appreciative of it, although it's been very difficult for everyone for the past couple months. But May 15th is our next deadline, by which time the court wants to have input from the trial courts and the courts of appeals on how they want to reopen things and what the steps are going to be, what gradually will happen to reopen the courts, have transparency, have public hearings, have witnesses and parties all in the courtroom at the same time, and figure out how to do that. So that's going to be coming up again after May 15th. The other order that came down is that all the jury trials are put off until at least June 1st. So that'll be about 2.5 months worth of trials that have been continued all across the state in every trial court. So June 1st would be the first opportunity for a jury trial to start up again. I'm kind of doubting that it's really going to be on that day, but at least we're starting to look towards the next deadline. So June 1st on that. The other thing that happened today that was really important for folks, especially in Marion County, which is Indianapolis, is that the court that handles what's called a Proceedings Supplemental, or in the vernacular, a ProSupp, the court issued an order that it was continuing all ProSupps indefinitely until further order of the court. So this is kind of trying to marry up what the Supreme Court's doing with what the trial court's doing on the ProSupps. If you remember, a ProSupp is a secondary hearing after a trial to try to collect on a judgment. So if you're a creditor and you win in your case and you haven't been paid, then you can take the other party back to court in a proceeding supplemental. Those cases in Marion County, at least, are all heard in one courtroom. And it's just a giant backlog of cases constantly, of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cases per month being disposed of, where debtors are required to come to court and give testimony and evidence about their income and their assets, and then creditors work out deals with them to repay whatever is the judgment. So every day there are hundreds of cases set on the ProSupp docket, and today we got an order on one of those cases indicating that the matter is continued indefinitely, and the court is not resetting those hearings at all. And in Marion County, what they're doing is saying, once the Supreme Court gives us the green light to start having these hearings, then as a creditor, you have to file a new motion with the court and ask for a new hearing date at that point. So they're not just doing a rolling continuance. They're saying, we're just stopping all of these ProSupps for now, and we're going to hear them in the future when the courts are back fully operational. And when they are, then you can press a P for a date, and we'll start putting them on the calendar at that point. So it's that's a big part of creditors' rights law. It affects thousands of creditors and that kind of a thing. I do want to say that it's a little bit different in small claims court. So Superior Court is the court that I was describing there and what their process is going to be. In small claims court, they are setting hearings. In fact, we just got one for a client. They set it in August. So the court's being a little bit optimistic, I think, that August is going to be a good date for a ProSupp. I certainly hope that it is, and we'll just continue on. So the small claims courts in Marion County, Indianapolis, are setting ProSupp hearings. It's a mouthful. They're setting those hearings continuously, but not in Superior Court. So just two different aspects and two different ways that the trial courts are dealing with that. So big news on the juries, big news on the ProSupps, big news on the next deadline for setting a procedural date to try to reopen the courts. May 15th. So we'll see what happens then. I'll give you another update when that hits us. I look forward to it, and I look forward to being back in court for you. We defend your territory. Love it. Have a great day. Thank you.